Gold is in a powerful uptrend. This is a massive bull market, and it's classic that you have this sharp decline. Almost all of the decline was one day, right? We had a 6.5% drop in a single day. It's gone down a little bit since then, but that was the lion's share of it.
Gold just hit $4,400, a level no one believed we'd ever see this soon. But Peter Schiff says this isn't the top. It's the beginning of something much bigger. While gold's in a powerful uptrend, Bitcoin is flashing serious danger signs. Margin calls, ETF risks, and over-leveraged traders on the brink. Schiff reveals what's really happening behind these moves, and what could come next for gold, silver, and the US economy. Let's get into it.
Gold is above 3,900. A month ago, that's an all-time record high, right? A few months ago, if you'd have told anybody that gold would be at 3,900 and change in November, they'd have been, no way, it's not going to get up that high. All we did is we went a little bit too far, too fast. Gold got extended up to almost 4,400 and then had a sharp couple of day pullback. But gold is in a powerful uptrend. This is a massive bull market, and it's classic that you have this sharp decline. Almost all of the decline was one day, right? We had a 6.5% drop in a single day. It's gone down a little bit since then, but that was the lion's share of it. And it scared people, mainly the people who, got in recently because they saw gold going up every day and figured, well, let me just hop on board. It's going to be a smooth ride. And then they got a big drop. And obviously some people might have been cute. They might have used leverage. Maybe they were in the futures markets. Maybe they had some stops and they got ran. And so, but the psychology, even here, we're at this gold conference and the mood is not nearly as, exuberant as I would have expected. A lot of people are a little nervous, taking profits on their gold and on their gold stocks. The opposite of the Bitcoin conference that I was at in over the summer, where there were 35,000 people, right? We don't even have 1,000 people here. Yeah. There are 35,000 people, and everybody was optimistic. There was nobody that thought Bitcoin could go down. Everybody thought the sky's the limit, we're going to the moon, 1 million, 10 million, bet the farm, mortgage the house, put everything in Bitcoin, right? That's enthusiasm, right? Here, it's skepticism, it's fear. People, yes, they're bullish, but they're nervous, and so I think this is a big bull market. Silver is still around $46, $47. Yes, it's below the $54 that it hit a couple of weeks ago, but it's way above where it was a month ago. It's way above where it started the year. So I think it's just, the trends are intact. We shook out some of the, the new, buyers that, really, were leveraged or don't really have, belief in the trade. So the weak hands maybe have folded already. And we worked off an extremely overbought condition. Gold was as overbought as it's ever been. And so that's not the case anymore. And we got this correction out of the way, and we're still at 3,900 because we went up so far, so fast. We were able to have a correction, yet, we're really correcting to 4,000. I think 4,000 is about the support. Even though we're below it, it's like 3,000 was support. When we first broke above 3,000, we had several trips back down to 2,900, and then we took off for good. And I think we're doing now around 4,000 what we did earlier at 3,000. Small compared to what's coming. And the real crash there was in a lot of the altcoins because Bitcoin bottomed out at around 104K. Now, just before we started this interview, Bitcoin was 99K. So we've taken out that low, which I think is significant. But I think the real leverage is in Bitcoin. And what I was mentioning before we did this interview, I was just watching Anthony Pompliano, AKA Pomp, right, who's a big Bitcoin promoter. He had a guy on his podcast, and they're talking about how rich Bitcoiners are buying all kinds of stuff without selling any of their Bitcoin. Now, one of the reasons they don't want to sell it, of course, is that when you sell it, you pay a tax, but you also affect the market. The reason they say nobody should sell their Bitcoin is because it's a Ponzi. It's a pyramid, right? You can't, everybody has to not sell. But what these guys are doing is instead of selling Bitcoin and buying the house or buying the car or the boat or the plane or whatever they're buying or taking a vacation, they are borrowing against their Bitcoin. And they're talking about this like it's this great thing, that you don't have to sell your Bitcoin. Well, you don't have to sell your Bitcoin now. You have to sell it later at a much lower price when you get a margin call. Because when you pledge your Bitcoin and it's being held as collateral, if I've loaned you a bunch of money against your Bitcoin, if your Bitcoin falls in value to a predetermined level, I'm on the phone, I'm saying, hey, you need to send me some more money or some more Bitcoin, or I'm selling this Bitcoin. And if you don't have the money to meet the call, I sell your Bitcoin. The problem is those calls are going out all over the place. Everybody that's holding Bitcoin collateral is calling up the Bitcoin whale, or soon to be minnow, and like, hey, margin call, buddy, and they don't have the money, because if they had the money, they would have spent it. The reason they borrowed against their Bitcoin is because they didn't have any money. All they had was Bitcoin. And so now you have all this Bitcoin being sold into a vacuum. But what's going to exacerbate it, and I've been warning about this since they started, these Bitcoin ETFs, right? Everybody loved them on the way up, but when you get mass liquidation from the ETF, because the ETF buyers are not diehard Bitcoin max. I mean, after all, if they were, they wouldn't own ETFs. They'd own their own Bitcoin. These are just traders or regular investors who bought these ETFs because they were going up and because they were hyped and promoted. And people thought, hey, I'll buy this and I'll make some money. Well, when they see that they're down 20, 30, 40, 50%, people are going to say, I had enough. I'm going to cut my losses and I'm going to move my chips to something else. Well, I think that that's going to happen en masse. I think you're going to see, a year worth of buys liquidated over 1 or 2 days. And the question is, who is going to buy all that Bitcoin? We know who sold them all the Bitcoin. Those are all the whales, the OGs that had all the Bitcoin to cash out. But who's going to step up to the plate and buy that Bitcoin? And by the way, if you go back and look at a lot of the big Bitcoin crash, all of a sudden there's a bunch of new tethers that come out of nowhere and buy up Bitcoin, right? And people are like, wow, they just counterfeiting these tethers and using tether kind of like the Fed, like to prop up the market. Well, when the ETFs sell, you can't buy with tether because the ETFs can't stick tether into the brokerage account of their customers. So they're going to have real dollars. So you're going to have actual buyers, not fake tether buyers, but real people are going to have to step up and catch that falling knife and say, oh, I'll buy that Bitcoin. I don't think they exist. Maybe there'll be some pressure by the Bitcoin community on Trump to get the US government to bail out Bitcoin, right? To fill up the strategic reserve. But that would be real desperation if taxpayers had to come and bail out Bitcoin, especially when Trump's family is completely invested. It'd like be a bailout for his own family to use taxpayer money to buy up, Bitcoin. But it would also, the fact that the government needs to bail out Bitcoin proves that the whole thing is BS. It's not a strategic asset. It's not digital gold.
That's a lot to digest, but the truth is clear. Gold is climbing, silver is showing potential for explosive gains, and Bitcoin, along with the crypto market, is facing serious turbulence. What Peter Schiff shared today isn't just numbers and charts. It's insight that can protect your wealth and guide your next move in these uncertain times. If you found value in this video, don't just leave it. Hit that like button to let us know you want more high-quality financial analysis. Subscribe and tap the bell icon so you never miss updates that could change the way you think about investing. We've got more videos covering gold, silver, crypto, and market predictions waiting for you. Check them out next and keep yourself informed. Your comments are gold too. Share your thoughts below, tell us what you think about Schiff's analysis, and join the conversation with thousands of others who care about the future of money. And if you know someone who needs to see this, share this video. Because staying ahead in the market isn't just about watching, it's about helping others see the big picture too. Your support helps the channel grow and keeps these insights coming straight to you.